Come. You are very important in this matter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are welcome, sir. Sir, on Tuesday, the 14th of January, at about 10 minutes past midnight, a Hyundai bus conveying about 57 passengers from Accra towards Takoradi was approaching this angle from the Cape Coast side. And then there was an articulator ahead of him from our preliminary investigations. And then he tried to overtake that articulator from this straight stretch, which is on the left side from Cape Coast towards Takoradi. Just as he was overtaking that articulated truck, then if we look ahead on the Takoradi side, we'll see that there's a sharp curve there. Just as he was about to overtake, then another passenger bus conveying about 50 passengers, that's a DAF diesel bus from Takoradi to Accra, emerged from that curve. Both vehicles were on top speed. So as soon as the red Hyundai bus from Accra sighted that DAF truck bus emerging from the Takoradi direction, he sensed danger and immediately decided to swerve towards the shoulder of the road. But if you look directly opposite the road, you see that there's an embankment there. He tried to swerve there. And at the same time, the driver, the DAF truck bus driver from Takoradi, also sensed danger. And I believe both of them, from our preliminary investigations, indicate that both of them sensed danger at the same time, and they both tried to avoid a head-on collision, so they both swerved towards the shoulder of the road. But unfortunately, because of that embankment there, none of them could go very far. But the Hyundai bus from Accra towards Takoradi moved faster, and I think the head bit of it went up on the embankment a bit, and then the DAF bus from Takoradi came and hit the mid portion of the Hyundai bus. The speed was quite great, and the damage to both vehicles was very extensive, and the passengers inside. We worked very hard from that hour of the night till about 7 a.m. in the morning. That was when we were able to rescue the victims, those who were injured, and then also we were able to cut and remove the dead from the mangled vehicles of both vehicles. Yeah, those who were dead on the spot were 29 initially, and then we conveyed all the injured to the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. 5 of them also died on arrival. 56 were treated at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. There is some allegation that on that day, a bus or a vehicle ran through the victims that were rescued and then possibly killed a number of victims. Our preliminary investigations has not shown that this is the case. That cannot be true as at this stage of our investigations, because the accident occurred roughly around 10 minutes past 12. By 12:25, 12:30, fire service and police emergency operational teams were on the ground. So meaning that about 20, 25, 30 minutes after the accident, our emergency teams were in place. And as soon as they got in place, a few minutes after, My district police commander for Elmina was also in place. And they all remained on the ground until our emergency operations on the ground were completely finished. And all of them have given statements, and it has shown very clearly that no vehicle has run and killed people immediately after the accident. We had an incident where one of these Ford vehicles from Takoradi was going to Accra, and when it got here, at that time, it stopped. And then some passengers from that Ford vehicle got down in a bid to help with the emergency operations that were going on. And according to our preliminary investigations, a vehicle from the Takoradi side got to this side, and because that lane of the Cape Coast bound lane was riddled with the debris, it took this side, this other lane, and drove off. It didn't stand. Immediately it passed. Then two of the passengers on that Ford bus claimed that, one of them claimed that that vehicle ran over her leg. And then another one also claimed that that vehicle also hit his head. So the Ford bus driver immediately picked them, his passengers, and drove off and went to the UCC hospital in Cape Coast. We have followed up, and our investigations there have shown that yes, few minutes after 12 o'clock that day, some 5 injured persons were brought to the hospital. 3 of them were treated and discharged of some minor injuries. And then 2 of them who sustained serious injuries, one was referred to Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and the second was referred to Interbetin Hospital. Our follow-up to Interbetin indicated that that person who was referred there didn't report there. So we believe he also probably went to Accra because the Ford bus was on its way to Accra. Yes, so our investigators are following up to Kolebu to find out, how that one turned out. But the truth is that no passenger was killed here as a result of a vehicle that ran past and ran over some of the victims that were rescued. That bit of it, we want to put it on record. As at this stage of our investigations, that has not been proven. I would just want to add that the driver of the Hyundai bus was treated and discharged yesterday. We immediately picked him up and detained him to assist in our investigations. We are taking him to court today, and by now, as we are speaking, I believe by now he's in court, and we will see what the courts will say, whether to grant him bail or we will remand him in custody to assist us in our investigations. So, Honorable, as at this stage, this is what our investigations have indicated. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This theory of vehicle running over some of the victims has been rescued. What that means is that if it did happen, then there would have been more mutilated bodies. So I want us to know, those who were rescued, by your count, how many of such bodies were mutilated?
Yes, sir. Honorable, thank you, sir. I want to add that that is true. If a vehicle truly plowed through the victims that were rescued, chances are that would have had a lot of mutilated bodies. But from our investigation so far, it is only 2 of the dead that were mutilated. And those 2 were persons that were trapped in the 2 mangled vehicles. And my district police commander for Elmina was on the ground here when those 2 were actually extricated from the 2 mangled vehicles. Only 2. All the bodies that we have seen so far, apart from these 2, we have not got any other kind of mutilated bodies. So that part of yes, it also debunks it. Apart from the fact that our officers, both the fire service and the police service personnel who were on the ground throughout the entire operation, indicated that no such incident happened, apart from the one that I spoke about. And for that one, only, let's say 5 persons were injured, 3 slightly, and then 2 a bit serious, but they were referred for further treatment. Nobody.
Again, as even part, to strengthen your position of trying to debunk that allegation, it was also being rumored around. And it was part of the allegation that alleged vehicle that ran over the rescued people who might not have died also ran into an accident. But from your explanation and the narration, it means that the police did not record any additional accident.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
That strengthens your position.
That is true,
Yeah.
sir. And
That's
the way that morning the operation went, if you look on that side, you see that embankment, those bodies that were retrieved were actually put on the cassava farm over there. And then all the injured persons were brought across here. On this side, they were not on the road. So even if a vehicle was coming, it could not have gone in there to run over them. Nobody was on the roads because we do not want to record any other accident here. Yes, sir.
the Benz bus claimed ran over those 5 people who fortunately did not die. Have you been able to identify the vehicle?
Oh, no. In fact, we don't know if it's a Benz bus.
But that's what.
Yes, so we are still investigating that bit. But what we know is that it's a Ford bus that was coming from Takoradi towards
them?
No, there were passengers on the Ford bus.
But the Ford bus picked them to the hospital.
The same Ford bus.
What they say is that
Yeah.
when the Ford bus got here,
Yes.
because of the accident, some of the passengers got out of that
On the Ford bus.
to assist. So those who suffered the hits were passengers on the Ford bus.
The comment that I have for now that is unfortunate, is regrettable, and we are leading this high-powered delegation, myself and my colleague, the Minister for Transport, to represent the President of the Republic and government. And on this occasion, the two of us jointly, want to extend our deep, sorrow and that of the President and government to all those who might have died in this unfortunate accident and those who have sustained injuries. We extend that feeling of condolence to their families, and we will follow up from here to the hospital to visit those who have been hospitalized. But on my part, and I know my colleague, the transport minister, will come in, we must caution drivers in our country. The police under MTTD may do their work. The Road Safety Authority, under the able leadership of the Director General, Mrs. Obri Yabwa, we all know the excellent work that authority is doing in our country. There's no doubt about that. But no matter the extent of education that we carry out, if at the end of the day, the drivers who are manning these commercial vehicles don't take advantage of this intensive and extensive education, then we will continue to have these problems. It's regrettable that the more we try to improve the roads, the more we get fatal accidents. It was a painful duty for myself and my colleague, the Minister for Transport, to visit Branhafu last year, on a similar occasion. there was a terrible accident that claimed over 50 lives. And here, we are recording over 34 lives of our people, our compatriots, and it's needless. We cannot continue to experience and witness this kind of fatalities. Drivers must know that any mistake they make, any form of carelessness in driving will take many lives. But the government does not wish that we lose even a single soul of a Ghanaian on any part of our roads. We try to improve the road condition. We provide various kinds of road furniture. Road safety measures are being taken. If you look at this stretch, it's one of the best roads in our country with road line marking, and the signs are there, from MTTD and from road safety authorities' point of view. If you look at the road line marking, the entire stretch, as you approach the curve, those of you who understand, road sign markings and warnings, you see longer uh, 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 road line markings, white lines. They are longer and they are closer. It tells you and it warns you and cautions you that you are getting into a curve. So any driver who has taken, road safety education seriously and worth his salt for sitting behind, a steering wheel, almost a kilometer away, should know that you have entered into, a portion of the road that is warning you to be careful because there is a curve ahead of you. From the other side, on the Cape Coast bound side, the road signs are there. So this accident is needless, wrong overtaking, and it's a human error. So I would want to appeal to our drivers that no matter the excellent work that my ministry will do in terms of providing, excellent road infrastructure in our country, no matter the excellent work that will be done by the road safety authority and the Ministry of Transport, no matter the excellent work that the police, and the MTTD will be doing, if at the end of the day the drivers don't change their attitude and continue to drink, to drive, and continue to overtake at areas that do not permit overtaking, and continue to disregard road signs, unfortunately, this country will continue to have these problems. Police may be at various sections of the road, but even if you pass through a police check, immediately after that, the safety of you yourself, the driver, and the passengers, unfortunately, the lives of the passengers are in the hands of one man. So in case of an accident, because of one man's carelessness and mistake, many innocent lives are lost, as we are witnessing now. And we don't even wish that any driver should also die. And so I don't, and government does not even support the argument that if anybody drives carelessly, and the driver should suffer for his own action, so be it. No, we don't. Government hasn't and will not take that position. No. So as much as we care for the lives of the innocent people in the vehicle, government also cares for the lives of our drivers, because their contribution to the development of this country. They move goods and people, and drivers, constitute, a major force in terms of development of our nation. They transport us, they transport goods. They are so important, in the scheme of things of our country. And government does not want to lose even a single driver. We will not say that the driver, if you are careless and you die and the rest are safe, it's your own palaver, as we say it. No, it's not the palaver of any driver. So far as government is concerned, we want to safeguard the lives of our drivers because of the important role they play to the development of this country, and every single life is important to government. So I will appeal to drivers that we should be careful. I'm saying we because we all drive. I'm also part of it. We should be careful because this is needless, completely needless. I thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Please let the transport minister.
I stood myself to all what the minister for.
Sorry.
I will go further to appeal to the media, the civil society, and even our clergy, the Muslim community, and our reverend ministers to use their podiums to advise our drivers. I think we are getting to a point that we all need to speak out. So I'm going to use this medium to appeal to you, the media, that every morning, when you get up and you start your morning program, please use 1 minute, even 30 seconds, to educate everybody about road safety. Maybe I'll find time to go and see the clergy and the Muslim community and see how we can all get ourselves involved. Because like the Minister for Roads and Highways just said, government may do whatever he needs to do. You just accuse government that we haven't done anything. What about the driver, your destiny, your own life? Like he said, one person may cost the life of about 45 people. In this case, about 35 people have lost their life due to the carelessness of one person. And the media may criticize government. Yes, you can criticize government that we haven't done anything, government has not done road marking, government is not doing it. Please, I'm appealing to you that use the same media to advise the drivers. That the government may not be doing the best, but please tell them to take their destiny to their own hands so that they may protect others. Because the passengers in the car may be your relative, may be my relative. I don't know what happens. So the way the civil society group are speaking against government or anybody in high office who does not perform his duty very well, I'm appealing to them that from today going, let us use the same medium to advise our drivers and caution them the need to be careful on our roads. Just December, about 3 weeks ago, I was on radio appealing to them. Just December, the National Road Safety Commission, the National Road Safety Authority, train drivers spent over 2 million Ghana cedis to train drivers. And just after 2 weeks after that training, look at what is happening. All due to the negligence of one person. In such circumstances, what happened? You are a human being. You are a Ghanaian. You feel compassionate for others. You will come here. You see the way our people have died. You have no option than to shed tears. In the media, also the minister went there to go and cry. Yes, you may be right in saying so. But we are all human beings. See what has happened. See what has happened. And I've always been cautioning them that you granted that government has not done anything. What about your own life? Please, we beg you, the media, from now going, please, I'm appealing to you that every morning, as your contribution towards road safety in this country, use 1 minute of your time to educate our people. I don't like the minister has admonished them. I do not intend to repeat it. It will become repetition and government sympathize with everybody. I'm even lost of words. Why should I say? Last year we were on Kentampo Road admonishing people, saying the same things again. It doesn't mean that they don't want to listen. Because people are saying that the police were on the road. How do you expect police people to be on the granted everywhere at the same time, midnight, 12 midnight? How many are they that they can stand here from here to Takoradi? They cannot be here from here to Takoradi. That is why road marks have been provided to guide you. yet you ignore it. We've been telling them that if you are tired, please don't drive. Don't do unnecessary overtaking. All these things, national road safety. Look, I can tell you today that since the inception of national road safety, they have never done education in their life like 2019. Go and check their budget. Go to the radio station. Find out that the education that they had. Yet, look at where we are. Is it because the more we educate them, the more we are getting the accident, or what? So please, I'm on you, the media, today, that I think together we can all wage the crusade. Let's come together. You granted that the government is not doing anything. Come to the side of government in terms of education. Let us educate our people. Let's appeal to the clergy. Let's appeal to our Muslim, our imams. That every Friday when they get to the mosque, let's use that medium to educate our people. And I'm sure maybe through that we can reduce the number. Because in constructing roads, it is not just an event, it's a process. Granted, government are even going for loan and said that you want to do this road. It's not going to take a year. Take about 2 or 3 years. Within that time, what happens? Should they continue to kill our people? Please let us appeal to them. And I think we have a collective responsibility to do.
Particularly the two of us, because our duties complement each other. We work together. This road is earmarked for dualization. Accra, Takoradi, even to continue to Takwa. We are currently dualizing part of the central corridor. And if you talk about central corridor road, we are talking about the road from Accra through Kumasi to Tamale to Paga. We intend dualizing Accra, Aflao. These are all plans that we are working on, and they are at various stages of implementation. Okay, we have started the Accra Kumasi stretch of the road because of the traffic volume there, so we have prioritized that. But like the minister said, transport minister said, it's a process. It cannot happen over a day. It will take the next 2 to 3 years, to implement all this. So until that is done, we jointly appeal to drivers to exercise caution, on the road, because research, has shown, and the Road Safety Authority, is seized with all the facts and the information, and we know it's a world record that if you dualize the road, fatal accidents reduce significantly. Perhaps for accidents, nobody may, record 0 accidents on our roads, in any particular year, but it will reduce significantly. And even if should any accident occur, unfortunately and regrettably, if the road is dualized, because it's not possible to have a headlong collision, it may not be as fatal as we are experiencing.